Everybody, I am Stefan ADIKA. You're an artist on record, and this is our playlist, Artist Rewind. And tonight in the hot seat from Loverboy, Mike Reno is in the house. Mike and Loverboy, they have a new song out called Release. They're going out on tour with REO Speedwagon and Styx. Make sure you catch them. All links will be in our description down below. Tonight, we're going to talk about the hit song that almost broke up Loverboy. Also, Loverboy opening up for Kiss. Next, on your ultimate, intimate, favorite show with your favorite artist. Artist on Record starring ADIKA Live. It all happens now. We're on the air. Mike Reno, Loverboy, thank you very much. You're an artist on record with me, Stefan ADIKA, so it's wonderful to have you here, my friend.
Hey, Stefan, thank you, buddy.
Thank you very much. Hey, man, you're going out. You're going on the road this summer.
I was just looking at this. There's 3 pages of this, and it's like it just goes and goes and goes and goes. They added 10 more shows just recently. The closest we're coming to, LA would be the I think it's called I think it's July 19th. Well, the 5 Point Amphitheater. I guess we're playing there on 16th, and then we're down in Chula Vista on the 19th. So that's as close as we get to California, I think.
Wow, so you're busy.
It's crazy. After 2 years off, it just went into full overdrive for sure. It's crazy. I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you, Stefan.
First of all, it's like starting all over again. You're going back to 1980.
Everyone's watching to see what you do.
It really is. It's kind of like we've been resting and just doing what we've been told, stay home, be safe, survive so far. And the only thing getting better is my golf game.
Really? Is that what you did 2 years? You've been doing the golf thing?
Well, what else? I'll be doing some music, of course, but mostly just kind of hanging out at the golf course with some of my buddies, and everybody's happy. And, it's kind of a weird time. It's been like a Twilight Zone series, hasn't it, for the last 2 years?
Have you been watching my shows? Because that's what I say all the time, Twilight Zones. Don't be a stalker now, Mike.
Well, that's what it's like. Can you imagine 2 years of this? This is crazy.
Your music speaks for itself. When it first came out, it was an error. And I was just telling my wife, she's 9 years younger than me. I go, do you realize these songs, Working for the Weekend, Hot Girls in Love? I mean, these were my anthem songs as a teenager.
Come on, baby, let's go!
The music is part of everyone's DNA. I grew up with all kinds of, I remember going to Led Zeppelin concerts, Rolling Stone concerts, Rod Stewart concerts, Chicago. You couldn't keep me away from going to concerts. Then I started doing them all the time, and then it just stopped. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone where the guy had the watch, and when he snapped his fingers or pushed the stopwatch, everything would stop so he could move stuff around. He could take money from the bank, he could fix his hair, and then he'd put the stopwatch again. But then the stopwatch broke.
It
He was all by himself for the rest of his life.
I don't think you have a bad song. I mean, for people who are watching right now on YouTube, this man is just, he really is the sound of the 80s, because when you think, and I'm not knocking anybody, so anybody's going to take any samples out of this, Mike pleads the fifth, before Bon Jovi, before all these cats, there's a band from Canada that came out and they had the synth, they had the guitars, they had the hooks, they had the intro, the verse, the chorus, and the girls, the coolness of rock and roll. It's this guy right here and the boys from Loverboy. You guys really made that sound, and you put Canada on. I know I'm kissing your ass. Just go with it. but you know what, Mike, it is true. And even the studios in Canada, which, you hear about the studio, Bob Rock did all his records, Metallica, all these bands were flying from all over the world after you guys. I mean, you put it on the map, I would say.
I used to drop by the studio just for fun on a night in town and stuff, and I drop by the studio. And on one side, in Studio A would be Aerosmith. On the other side would be like Bad English or Motley Crue or Blue Murder, and the Scorpions were in town. It was insane. And what they did is it was kind of a backhanded compliment. It's like saying we we like the sound of those records, so we're going there. And I've done it myself. You know, when we wanted to record our second record, we couldn't even use our guys. Our guys were busy. They were booked. They got booked solid they've been booked ever since we cut those records. We have a hard time, you know, getting through to these guys. Bob Rock's so busy. Sadly, Bruce passed away. Mike Fraser, who used to be our second engineer and just do stuff and set up microphones and, you know, fix everything up and make sure it's all working. He's now producing and mixing AC/DC albums. I mean, everybody's gone crazy, you know.
Wow.
It's nice.
So you saw the whole studio grow into something small, into this place where, oh, look at all these bands now coming in. Did you ever pinch yourself going, you know, we were the first ones here, you know?
Well, it was a monster. A lot of guys like to get out of town to record. There's a lot of reasons for that. And the main reason is you're with your guys and you're staying somewhere where there's no interruptions. You know, you don't have the kids and the dogs and everybody saying, you know, you got to do this, drive him here. You're all kind of zoned in. So Vancouver's a cool place to do that. It's a cool town with lots of great restaurants and things.
Is Vancouver a cool town? It's still the same charm and the charm it has that it had back then.
I think it's even gotten bigger and better. I mean, it's just insane.
That's cool. See, that's a town I like to visit. I've been there, but you know, on the road, you don't see much. You don't get to enjoy it. So you have to go back to these cities to really enjoy it when you're not on the road. Do you do that? Ever take all right, we're going.
No, absolutely. You know, it's kind of funny. We say we're playing like you're playing New York. You go, where are you playing? He goes, Jones Beach. So, you know, you go to Jones Beach and it's just out in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's just a beach with the stage on it. The stage is about 100 years old. You don't even want to go in the dressing rooms, right? You want to change in the bus, but to get to the bus, they bring it out before the crowds are there. It's a little strange, that place, but so then you don't really see New York. No. But, you know, then that's totally, I hear what you're saying. It's the same for me. I mean, you must be a touring musician as well.
Yeah. You know, I've done some touring myself, and I'm like Casey Kasem. I do interviews with celebrities like you, and make it intimate, and make it the ultimate intimate conversation with the favorite artist, which is you. Even your solo stuff, things with Ann Wilson.
I thought that dreams belonged to other men.
Exactly. That was
a hit.
You know, that was a one track. That was a one. You know, you hear people say they did it in one take. That's a one take song. We just stood up and sang it in the same microphone. And Keith Olsen comes to the window and he just goes, "Thank you very much." You know, he holds his hands up.
'Cause each time I got close.
Keith Olsen, who did Rick Springfield's record, you know, everybody hit song Jesse's Girl, but what a producer he is. He did so much.
Yeah. Sadly, he passed away too. We're losing everybody. It's like
he
it
passed away.
It's starting to get to me a little bit. Every time I open my morning paper, I'm reading about somebody that's gone.
Kids, if you're watching, enjoy it. Put the music on, fix your hair. If you fix your wigs, kids out there, enjoy the weekend. Work hard for the week. Get out there, go see Loverboy. They're going to be in town soon. But I want to talk about, you know, working with Ann in that production. Was Jim Keltner the drummer on that track?
I'm thinking I wasn't there for the drums.
Okay.
The bed track was done when they met me. It was a winter time. We met in Chicago. Both bands were on tour at the time. I remember we went to a studio called Pierce Arrow, which was actually a studio that before it was a studio, it was a car manufacturing plant called Pierce Arrow. It was like Chevrolet and Pontiac. It was Pierce Arrow. And it's a long time ago, but so it was kind of neat to be in this place. The music track's really kind of simple. If you listen to it again, just listen to how simple it is. It's almost like you got hardly any drums. It's just really simple, and hardly any guitar, just a bit of keyboards. And I don't know if Keltner played on it, but you never know. You
never know. But it was Eric Carmen, right?
He wrote it. Yeah,
he wrote it.
All my life I only needed you.
Yeah, and I was asked to do it, and I knew it was going to be in a movie. And you know, this almost broke up the band. I remember because Paul went, "This sucks. You're doing a ballad," and I said, "So what? You know, we already sold millions of records. I mean, people would like to listen to us. You know, do different things."
Yeah.
He goes, "Nope, that's going to kill us." So I said to Paul, and Paul's a really good friend of mine. I just talked to him this morning. I said to Paul, if this song and this movie are terrible, the whole thing will just disappear. It won't even matter. But if it's fabulous, what don't you think it'll be fabulous for all of us? I mean, fabulous for the band, just a little something, you know. And then after that, we started cutting ballads, right? So, you know, it kind of paid off.
Oh, almost paradise. We're knocking on heaven's door.
Great. And Eric Carmen, you can't go wrong with doing one of his tunes. What a writer.
No, exactly. He's fantastic.
You know, Almost Paradise, love theme from, it was titled Love Theme from Footloose.
Every day, almost paradise. We're knocking
Maybe they were going to think, oh, he's going to get turned into Elvis right now on us. He's going to stop being this guy. He's going to come in with the candles and Liberace cape. Oh, there goes Mike, you know.
Well, you know what? We never even did a video for that one. There's a lot of people kind of say, oh, I love that video you did for Almost Paradise. We actually never did a video for
We
Almost
never did a video, huh?
And you know what else we didn't do a video for? We didn't do a video for The Kid Is Hot Tonight.
It's hot tonight. Whoa, so hot tonight.
So here's the magic of music. We also, I've been told by over, I don't know, I'm going to say well over 200 people that they thank me for playing their high school dance, their grad dance, you know, graduation dance. And I say to myself, thank you. I say thank you. I go, that's great. But I don't even want to tell them, but I actually played 0 grad dances.
Wow.
Not one. So what it was is the music went with them. The music went to their parties. It was in their car on the way there, you know, and they partied to it and they had fun and they probably danced to it with DJ. But, you know, it's kind of it just really shows you how powerful music is.
I mean, your music was really, it was the 80s. It was the time of our lives and the memories. And now people are going to come out and see all the hits but wait a second, because we're going crazy with Almost Paradise. I have to push out there. Loverboy has a new single out called Release.
Never gonna seize it till we get a release. Can't you see I'm down on my knees?
And we got to push it out there. You did it. You put it out there. I want to know about this because you recorded it in a different way, because you guys are a live band, real rock and roll band. Get into a studio, cut the track. And how was it doing this now?
Completely different. You couldn't go to a more opposite end of the spectrum. We had Paul and I got together. We finished writing it, and we had a bed track together and recorded the vocals at my place. Then we sent it to Doug Johnson, our keyboard player, sent it via email. Now this, believe it or not, folks, so the whole song gets sent. He puts on all his keyboards and he sends it back. Then we send it to our drummer. And up until then, we just had kind of a click track in there. The drummer throws all his drums in, which sounds fantastic, by the way. Then it gets sent to Winnipeg, another Canadian city. And this is just a week later, and he puts the bass on, and then he sends it back to Paul, and Paul mixes it. And then to top it off, he does a little video using clips of Loverboy for the last 40 years, doing shows when we were younger, when we were older. And he made it all look very fantastic. And this is because we weren't supposed to get together. We were just doing what we were told.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's been hard. I mean, we never record like that, but it turned out okay. I mean, it really sounds like we're standing in the room doing it together.
Yeah. Well, while you were doing it, it felt a little weird, right? Doing the vocal track, just a little strange. You know, you're not the morale of the whole, the whole thing.
That's where I think a little bit of acting came in. You know, you got to just close your eyes and figure everybody's right there.
I know. And it's so much, even with a live show these days, because as an artist, there's nothing like, you know, you do all this work and people don't realize you're traveling and the hotels, they're traveling to get there. But when you're doing a 2 hours, hour up there, whatever it is, it's nothing like it. It's the best high in the world, just the energy of the people. Huh? Right, Mike? Do you feel the same way?
Well, totally. That's really what, in my opinion, that's what it's all about. If you can imagine just standing up there, and especially, you know, lately, in the last few years before we got shut down, people are coming in droves and they know every word to every song, and they're wearing all the Loverboy gear, and they're standing up out of their seats, and they're giving us encores. That's just an awesome feeling, and I can't wait to get back out there. I think our first show's coming up March 9th. Where are we going to be? Let's have a quick peek
Yeah,
here.
but take a peek. Tell us where you're going to be at.
But on March 9th, we're in the Palace Theater in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, which will be fun. And the same weekend, we're in Berglund Performing Arts in Roanoke. So, you know, we're going back out there. And that's those are going to be the first two shows we played in 2 years. So you can imagine how exciting we're going to feel on stage. Oh, you know, I haven't seen my drummer in 2 years.
In 2 years? Wow.
I've seen Doug. Well, our drummer lives in North Carolina, so he's way over there in Raleigh. Now I'm in Vancouver, you know, coast to coast, baby. So occasionally we'll do a Zoom call just so we can see each other.
Yeah.
And we talk on the phone, of course, but it's not the same. I mean, we used to be in the same room together for like 90 shows a year, every year for the last, 40 years.
Yeah.
And it's just stopped, which is just crazy. So when we get back out there, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a bit of work because, singing an hour and a half or 2 hour show is going to be a little different than hanging out, It's
going to be a whole nother world. And now going on the road, you'll be like in this bubble because of safety reasons. Of course, everything's a little,
Yeah.
See,
this could be, a lot of I've over the years made a lot of friends out there, and I'm sure everybody's waiting to go, hey, Reno's coming to town, and I'm going to put a guest list together. But what I'm hearing is from Live Nation is they've got a protocol, and you don't get backstage, because if you get backstage and for some reason you're carrying the virus and you get everybody sick, the tour grinds to a halt. And that's the end of the tour until everybody's better. So it's going to be such crazy protocol. And it's just never happened before. I don't even know how to deal with it. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Ask my friends to meet me down the street or something after the show.
That was the whole thing. You celebrate with your good friends after the show. I just did the gig. It's good to see you. Let's toast for a good rock and roll night. It's a whole different thing. It really is. You guys, I just found this out. So you guys, this is crazy to me because I'm from New York. The New York Dolls are supposed to open up for Kiss, but you guys opened up for Kiss. Is that true? I gotta know the story.
Well, what happened was, I guess they came up, from Seattle or whatever with the tour. And when they came through the border, they got refused. Now, I don't know why they got refused. I can imagine a few things. There's reasons why maybe they got refused. But, Canada's a bit of a conservative country. And this was years ago. So they were warming up Kiss. We got called, and it was just at the time, it was Maddie, our drummer, Paul and I, and Doug, our keyboardist. We didn't have a bass player. We were dinking around in the rehearsal hall with the bass player for April Y.
Wow.
And he was a friend. And so we're just doing a normal thing. I get a call from Bruce Allen, my manager, and he says, get the guys you're playing tonight. And I says, we're playing where? We haven't even done a show. We're just cutting demos and stuff. He says, you're playing in the Coliseum. And I said, what? The Coliseum? We hadn't even done a record. And I said, plus, Bruce, we don't even have a bass player. He says, well, find a bass player and get your butts over to the Coliseum. You're warming up Kiss. You start at 7:00. Let's go. And that's about all I remember of it. I kind of went into shock for like a whole week. Yeah. But we didn't get booed off the stage. The funny part was the intros to songs. Our bass player didn't know what song. He couldn't relate to it because he'd only been practicing with us for a couple of days. So I had to go over right up to his ear and look nonchalant and kind of rock and roll and go, doom, 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 doom. And then he goes, oh, yeah. And then he walks up in front. Jim Clinch is his name. God rest his soul. What a great rock and roll guy he was, man. Ooh, what a night. Everything will be all right. That was one of his big songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a good guy.
That's funny. So you went into Zia, you just hung because, oh, that's right. That's funny. That's rock and roll.
That was
up for Kiss.
Yeah, flying by the seat of our pants. And years later, I met with the guys in Kiss, and they reminded me more than I even remembered. They said, you guys look so scared up there. And, geez, we hadn't even done a record. And Gene comes to Vancouver once in a while. So I see him once in a while, either at Whistler or wherever. and or some kind of a charity function. And we talk about it. It's kind of, it's kind of a funny memory. And the same thing kind of happened with Cheap Trick. They came through Canada. We did the whole Western wing with them. And after the first night, I was talking at soundcheck with Tom Peterson, the bass player for Cheap Trick. And I'm going, I've always, because I love bass. I wrote Turn Me Loose on the bass. Bass is kind of one of my instruments that I really love. And I could never figure out how Cheap Trick got that sound. It was just such a heavy bottom end sound. So I went up to him and I said, can I have a look at what you're using? He says, the real sound's coming out of this baby. And he holds up this 8-string guitar. It might even have been a 10-string guitar, but it had like 2 or 3 strings for each, And I went, whoa. And so we had a nice long chat about it, and it was all kind of fun. And then we would go off to Calgary. Well, he didn't show up for the Calgary gig. For some reason in his life, he left Vancouver and just ended the tour. He didn't tell anybody. So they came up to me and they went, Reno, what the hell did Tom say to you last night? I go, well, nothing really. We were just talking about his rig and his bass. And he goes, have you talked to him since? And I went, no, I haven't seen him. He goes, I says, why? He goes, he's not here. We had to fly a guy in from New York, a guy who knew all the tunes. And I just went, holy smoke. Turned out he skipped out on the band for like a couple of years.
I remember that period. I remember that period. Yeah. Wow. What did you say?
Yeah, I didn't know. I felt sorry. I said, well, it wasn't me. It's not your bass player.
The night that Reno almost broke up Cheap Trick. Question. You got the new single out, Release. It is out. You're going on tour, summer tour. We have the dates. All links going to be down below in the description. That's right, everybody. Mike, you're fabulous.
Single tour. We're back.
You're back.
We had a nice rest. We're back in the saddle again.
You're back in the saddle again. That's all we could ask for, Mike. That's it. That's right. Oh, is your wife? Is she going to be singing too on the tour? Is she singing with you guys?
She'll probably sing every once in a while. One of the, whenever she comes out. When you're touring around with a bunch of guys in a rock band and all your roadies and stuff, it's not that comfortable to have the wife out there. But whenever you're playing the big cities, she'll definitely show up. And have
it's nice. It's nice. But she might want to do a little shopping too in the big cities, right?
Oh, you think?
Everybody, that was Mike Reno from Loverboy. And check out him and Loverboy on tour with Styx, REO Speedwagon. Links will be in the description down below. And make sure you download Release from Loverboy, which is out now. Until then, everybody, it's only rock and roll, and we like it. And remember, who loves you, baby? We do. I'll catch you all later. Now get out of here, you crazy kids. What are you doing? You're still here? Well, click on this box. There's a bunch of shows you have not seen. Come on. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Until then, I'll see you next week. Now get out of here, you crazy kids. Who loves you, baby? We do.